Coming to you live from a world of Rick and Morty cosplay. Build things, suffer trial and error, and impress the whole convention floor here on Interdimensional RSS, the unofficial Rick and Morty podcast. Coming to you through the internet and your ears.
Coming to you live from your ear holes, in through your ear holes and out through your eye holes.
That's right.
And streaming live on Twitch and YouTube, assuming that I hit the right button. This is Interdimensional RSS. I'm Travis.
And I'm Brandon.
Thank you for joining us for another episode. An episode that we were so prepared for that we said maybe not a half hour ago. Hey, shouldn't we record an episode?
Yeah.
Why not?
And why not? Why not? We're such stalwart professionals that we're here when you need us, and that is right now. That is right this second.
And we're here when you don't need us. Either way, we're here, and we're making some content for you guys. Thank you so much to everybody that continues to hang out, continues to download these episodes during this long season break. November's gonna be here before you know it, guys. It's
lickety splits.
And anytime now. If you want to hang out with us, if you want to follow along on our journeys between now and season 4, you can follow us online at Twitter at Rick and Morty Pod, on Reddit Rick and Morty Podcast.reddit.com, Instagram Rick and Morty Podcast, all one word. Don't break it up. I don't think you can.
Don't break it up. Don't be the Yoko of that link.
You can get all of our episodes at rickandmortypodcast.com, facebook.com/rickandmortypodcast, and of course you can send us emails at rickandmortypodcast@gmail.com. Thank you to those that continue to support us over at patreon.com/rickandmortypod. And Twitch, YouTube. Links are not in these show notes. They're in the other show notes. I don't understand why I haven't. I'll find those later. We'll stay to the end of the show to get those links. How you doing, Brandon? How goes things?
I'm doing well. I'm looking heavily forward towards November. We know something's gonna happen, and just kind of biding our time here. Biting, not biting. We could do that too, but I've ruined
take a big old bite at a time.
Just like McGruff the crime dog.
Do you remember the address to send McGruff like a message?
No. Is that was a thing?
I just remember that you could send a message to Scruff, the smaller crime dog, at Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois 60652. That's, I don't know. I think that's all you needed to send. Maybe it just went to the city of Chicago and then they found
like every home. It went to every single home in Chicago. And
they just they're just getting spammed with like crime questions in Chicago. But if that's your zip code, I will never forget it because of a 90s commercial. So thanks, McGruff. Anyway, we do have some things to discuss, and that is why we made a podcast. And so let's not delay any more than we have to. Let's get right into it in our first segment called Semi-Pertinent News.
Yeah, walking up and out, semi-pertinent news, semi-pertinent news. Wow.
Oh, loving it. Brandon is feeling those vibes tonight. He's feeling those festival vibes. He's feeling like being in a crowded parking lot on a hot LA night, with a bunch of legalized marijuana in the air, and just he feels like he's at a festival, at an Adult Swim festival. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I know what you're saying, man. I can feel the color. I can feel the death clock.
I can feel all the bands that I'm too old to really know or be familiar with.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Looking at well, I mean, we'll get into that. What Travis is obviously referencing is that, yes, ladies and gents, Unity Adult Swim Fest is happening again this year. the sequel, I guess you could say, the
Yeah,
second annual.
the squeakquel even.
What was that? Was that
I
Chipmunks?
think that's Chipmunks. I think that's a Chipmunks movie.
But yes, Adult Swim Festival. It is this year, November 15th and 16th, just
That's
2
right.
days. Travis and I we went last year. It just happened to be I was there for a wedding. Travis flew down.
It
He
just happens
crashed
to
the
be
wedding.
that I crashed that wedding. you know, no big deal.
The bride said he was invited, so it wasn't really a crashing.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I did
but
not RSVP. Let's be honest. I did not.
that's true. That's true. But we did go to a Adult Swim Fest. So we went on just one day, and it was cool. We did a whole podcast about it, about our experiences. So please reference that, and we won't talk about that anymore. No, I'm joking. Am I joking? I don't know if I'm joking. But it was exciting. It was fun and exciting. But this year I think they're trimming it back a little bit. I don't think they're trying to go. They have like a third of the bands that they had last year, I think. And I think they might be going more towards or moving away from a festival vibe and going more towards what I hear more of an Adult Swim convention esque
Okay.
vibe.
Yeah, no, I could feel that. Yeah, and I mean that's not to say that there weren't a lot of activities and things to do at the first Adult Swim Fest. They had the Meatwad Dome. They had the
Loosely.
Dream Core like VR experience or whatever that was called, and you got to ride a mechanical hot dog. um,
I got Adult Swim sunscreen from that event.
That's right. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
branded merch. But yeah, so but there are a lot of bands, and even in the first festival, there was a lot of like Adult Swim like personalities, like on stage for certain things. But so let's go over a little bit of the headliners for this year's Adult Swim festival. You got Death Clock, Jamie XX, or maybe that's Jamie 20. I don't know. Again, too old to know all these people. You got Vince Staples, Young Thug, and the Eric Andre Show live, and then Captain Murphy. So those are the artists in big blue text at the top, and then you also have uh, Tiara, TIE, Tiara Whack,
You don't know any of these people.
uh, Lil Nas X, Ghetto Boys, Freddie Gibbs, and Madlib, Tim Hecker, and the Kiono Ensemble. I just got to give them props on the name. That's
Yeah,
pretty legit.
it sounds very big bandish.
Uh,
Uh,
Stop me when you've heard one of these. Are you familiar with any of these artists?
yeah, Death Clock.
Oh, okay, not fair. Okay, I've heard of Death Clock.
If you wanted me to stop you, you should have told me before you started, because I would have
I
stopped.
read the first one, you're like, Travis, you're done. Stop it.
Um, yeah, there's a couple comedians on here, Jenna Friedman, for instance. Um, but just looking at this list, it's very apparent again that they're kind of taking a step back from doing a massive festival and trimming it down. Like they have a discussion with oh man, I apologize to Samurai Jack fans all over the place. Jendi Tartakovsky? Tartakovsky?
Tartakovsky,
Yes. A discussion with him, the Robot Chicken Intergalactic Power Summit,
of course.
Squidbillies 10-man Bunkhouse Stampede, and of course, what we're actually here to talk about,
Pew, pew, pew.
this exclusive Rick and Morty season 4 screening. And that's what really makes this. I don't know, it's not even semi, like it's act
This is. I mean, it's semi pertinent.
yeah,
I mean, anything Adult Swim technically we could roll in semi pertinent if we wanted, but
fair.
obviously last year the big draw for us at the Adult Swim Festival was the live scoring of an episode of Rick and Morty, as well as additional live performances with Chaos and who else was there? Uh, other people that I've forgotten.
Who does the mom for Bob's Burgers?
Yeah, yeah. He did the Terry Flaps song.
That's right. Yeah.
Um, and of course, why can't I'm blanking on his
Ryan
name.
Elder.
Yeah, Ryan Elder.
Yeah.
I kept wanting to say Ridley. I'm not even drinking. But Ryan Elder, best friend of the podcast. Check out his Survivor podcast if you're into Survivor. But that was an awesome event, and yeah, I think it's a cool opportunity if you're in LA to go see an episode of season 4 early. I I am. Let's do a little bit of like theory crafting and
Do it.
speculation here because the verbiage is very specific in this poster, in this announcement. It says exclusive Rick and Morty season 4 screening. It does not say like season 4 premiere screening.
Right.
So,
Does
let's hash it out here. We know November is season 4's announced premiere. This weekend is the 15th and 16th. Is this going to be the premiere? Is this going to happen before the start of season 4? Or is this like you're going to get to see episode 3 a week early, or you're going to see episode 4 2 weeks early,
oh,
or
yeah.
it's not specific to like getting to see the start of season 4 early. And I'm a little hopeful that that is the case, but you're like you don't necessarily agree, right? Like,
Uh, well, no, we don't know. We don't know for sure. We'll throw that out there. We're not official. It's in the title.
yeah.
So we don't have any information that you are not privy to, Unity. But what I will say that it's on the 15th and the 16th. 16th is a Saturday. Sunday, very next day, usually when Rick and Morty is on. So here's there's three things that can happen. Three
Three things.
different
I'm gonna break them
courses
down for you.
courses of action, as they call them. One, they do the premiere at the beginning of November, and this is like a they show an episode wherever in season 4 that nobody else has seen yet. That's one. Two, they show the premiere here at the festival, and then Sunday they actually premiere it to everybody else. So it is exclusive because they
For
showed it.
all of like 24 hours.
Yeah, hey, exclusive's exclusive. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know. Got to get those
Uh,
exclusives wherever you get them.
um, and then third is that they still do the premiere or another episode of season 4 there exclusively, but they don't release it until the end of November. Uh,
I,
Melsh82 says the common opinion on the web is it's not the premiere.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Uh, Melsh 82. Yeah, I really, uh,
Chelsea.
I'm really, I, I don't. Does your wife have a secret Twitch handle that we don't know about?
Well, there's something fishy about it.
Something
Who are
fishy
you,
about.
Melsh82?
No, you don't need to dox them or anything. But yeah, like I think if it was the premiere episode, then Adult Swim would push that even harder, and they'd be like, "See it first, see the premiere before anyone else does. Come see the season 4 premiere, like advanced screening." And because none of like that word premiere, I think is really big for me. I feel like they would throw that down a little bit more if that was the case. But otherwise, like I get like they gotta throw something Rick and Morty in to this event because it's such a huge show on Adult Swim, but I don't think I don't think what they're doing this year for Rick and Morty fans anyway, yeah, is quite up to the level of what we got last year. That's just me. That's just what I'm saying.
Just your personal opinion. Well, it does say in the poster plus Adult Swim experiences, including talent appearances, meet and greets, panels that
Panels.
yeah.
Call
Again,
us up, Adult Swim. We'll do a panel.
we'll do a
We'll
panel.
fly us out. We'll be there. We'll go
Uh,
both days. Do 2 panels. Try
ooh,
us.
oh yeah. Oh, Melch82, who's not Chelsea, my wife. Uh,
Confirmed.
they say Thanksgiving special. Oh, I mean,
Ooh.
that's a thought. Thanksgiving is in the month of November, I've heard.
Every November that I've experienced has been when Thanksgiving was. So yeah, it could be. Yeah, I'd love to see a Thanksgiving episode. That'd be great. Uh, well, yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this event. The coverage on Adult Swim and on AdultSwim.com was pretty outstanding. Actually, you could still see a lot of what happened at last year's Adult Swim Fest from the comfort of your own home on your couch watching on a laptop or whatever. So don't be dismayed if you can't make it out to LA this November. But if you are in LA, if you are going, definitely let us know.
Bring us
Let us know what
Oh,
you're excited about. What'd you say, Brandon? Take us with you.
bring us out. Uh,
Good old Linkler, who we met at last year's
yeah.
Adult Swim Fest and hung out with us a little bit. Rick and Morty super fan.
Mhm.
He's already said that he will be out there again for this one. So, right on. Maybe he can be our official correspondent. I'm just
Oh.
I'm just pitching that right now,
Oh,
like without
shoot.
discussing it. But hit us up, bro. Maybe we can work something out.
Geez. That Travis, God, that is a damn good, solid, quick thinking idea. Cheers to you. I forgot my mug, but I'm all right. So there's that. If you have any thoughts on Adult Swim Fest, be sure to let us know. Near,
Yer.
near.
Yeah, and that's that's about it for semi-pertinent news. We still have one thing that we always like to cover in the semi-perts, and that, of course, is the Dan Harmon Social Media Minute. Dan Harmon Social Media Minute. I should have done it in like in the style of one of these artists at Adult Swim Fest. Like I could have been like, nope, I don't know any of these. Sorry, I
Uh,
can't copy their
Death Clock.
styles.
Death Clock. Damn it.
Ah! Hey, remember when we waited in line? Do you remember when we waited in line for like over an hour to go on the Meatwad Dome ride?
Oh yeah.
And
I had
uh,
to do
and then
with
as soon as we got in there, a metal band started on the second stage, and it completely washed out all the audio in the Meatwad Dome, and we
I
just got
know. It was great. It was great. And it had nothing to do with Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
not at all. No, check it out. Make sure you get there this November
Yeah, it's
15th,
fun.
16th.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's a good experience. All right, so Dan Harmon's social media minute. As you know, Dan Harmon is not on Twitter anymore. He is, of course, on Instagram, and he is still bringing the hits, bringing that fire over on Instagram with his series of improvised audio clips, his songs that he does while driving in his car. And we featured a few of these on other social media minutes, but this week, we got an exclusive sneak peek. We got a little behind the scenes making of post. This post went up on 2 days ago, so that would have been the 23rd. And there are several takes of Dan just driving in his car and improvising some songs. So let's go ahead and play a little bit of that for the listeners right now.
All right.
Anytime.
At old Grady's pub, they pulled his pants and his shirt down and gave him a back rub. Oh, those rogue masseuses are on the strip tonight. Oh, don't let your towels and your oils and your tables out of sight.
The beauty of these posts is he does overlays on the screen where he's adding notes and almost commentary on his own musical bits as he's coming together with stuff, which really adds to the enjoyment of this post as he self critiques his improv and his stylings. Makes little notes about things like scratchy microphones and just going with it when he comes up with an idea. So
Yeah. Yeah.
great post. Top notch, Dan Harmon. Everybody go and check that out if you're on Instagram. And while you're there, make sure to follow us at Rick and Morty Podcast on Instagram.
Yeah, while you're at it, and you will see me periodically remember to post all of our no context Rick and Morty screenshots to show you and emphasize the beauty of the show and
Uh,
all of the creators.
a slight editor's note. I realize there have been times in the past where I've gone to like get engage with that Instagram account, and it's the one social media account that I don't have like
Uh,
the shared account for.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm always like, oh, I'll remind Brandon about that later, and then sometimes I do and sometimes I don't.
Okay,
So maybe
I'll
we'll work that out
I'll do it.
off screen.
I'll do it while we're talking about our very next subject. It's something we call the main thing, which you're not going to do music for. It's going to be me. Thing. M-A-N. Nope, that's wrong. Wrong spelling.
I can't
M-A-N.
spell.
That's min. Minimum spelling. Main thing.
It's the man thing, the patriarchy.
It's, it's the man-min thing. Everybody.
Gosh. Well, for those of you that are hanging out with us, well, I guess we should actually introduce this. We should actually record this for the podcast. Yeah. So we featured Allison's work in a semi-pertinent news right after MegaCon, right after you were out at MegaCon in Orlando. And she is Allison Chase is the person responsible for that really awesome snowball cosplay that was out at MegaCon, and you reached out to her about doing an interview. How did that all sort of come about, Brandon?
Yeah. Well, so mentioned a little bit before. Well, it's we're good to repeat it a little bit. After MegaCon, I was in the subreddit, and somebody posted the video of her cosplay. I was like, "Oh man, I was there. I was there that day. Why didn't I see it?" And either Sunday or the Monday, she actually posted on our Facebook page, like, "Hey, check this out. Thought it was really, really cool." Immediately said that was cool because I thought it was cool, and said, "Hey, how about would you be interested in coming on the show sometime and us being able to ask you some questions about how you built it and what have you?" And she said, "Sure." It was text. I think that's what her tone was.
The inflection was implied. Uh, yeah. So then you worked it out. You actually did this interview while I was on vacation, I think.
That's right. Yeah.
And so
I told her Travis doesn't want to talk to you. It's
He's
just gonna be me.
too busy driving and yelling at kids to be here for this interview. Because that's how I road trip.
That's why he doesn't do
constantly.
That's why he doesn't do conventions because he hates kids.
I will pull this car right around. We will go back to Washington D.C. But yeah, so here it is for you now. Here is the interview that Brandon did with cosplay extraordinaire Allison Chase.
And I apologize because I suck at interviewing. Let's go. Now, if you're watching live,
this is the period of our show where the folks watching live on Twitch will not hear the interview.
Yeah. So now we can speak freely, Travis. Oh my
Finally.
god.
Finally.
What an awful interview. It was just
Oh no, Allison's watching live.
oh no.
No. Yeah, it's really, it would just be awkward here on Twitch and YouTube if we just stared at the screen while we played this interview. So maybe if you have questions in the chat or something, and we can do an exclusive Q&A for both of you. Exclusive little bits.
Yeah, ask us questions, Chelsea. Ask us questions.
Ask us where the Meatwad Dome was.
Yeah, please do. Uh, so Omar, my good friend, my good work friend, he's watching over on the YouTubes,
Y-
and I just want to shout out to him. He says, "It's really interesting." He says, "Hello!" Exclamation point.
Well, hello to you too, Omar. Um,
Special shout out to Hero Omar. He's he's my hero. Um, okay, well,
yeah.
uh,
How about them animated TV shows? You want to talk about The Simpsons? Let's do a
oh yeah,
subverted Simpsons podcast
yeah.
in the
So,
middle of a Rick and Morty podcast.
what's your favorite Simpsons episode, Travis?
It was probably one from the '90s because I think that was the last time I watched The Simpsons. Uh,
Season 1 through 7 or 1 through 8 episode, probably.
Probably. I don't know. Um,
Okay, you don't have to have an episode, but what's like a clip that you remember from The Simpsons that always kind of jumps out at you?
I always think about when was it Homer trying to skateboard over that canyon?
Yeah, Devil's Gourd or
Yeah, and then when he falls and they put him on the like the backboard and they're trying to like lifeline him out, and it's just like banging against the side of the canyon. Don't ooh,
uh,
ah,
then they put him in the ambulance, and then the ambulance crashes into a
and he
tree.
falls back out.
Wow.
I will tell you this is gonna get like have a real apathetic enthusiasm feel for a second, but I have been rewatching a bunch of The Office,
Uh,
and after I finish that, which they just announced today, Netflix, The Office will be coming off of Netflix at the end of
Finally.
2020, I believe. So if that's something that you care about, but yeah, I was like, okay, after I rewatch this old show, what else can I fill the empty moments of my life with? And I thought I could revisit The Simpsons. I could watch 30 years of television in less than that amount of time. So yeah, I may do that. I may I may
Well,
set that up.
that's going to it's going to their own like little streaming service, right? The NBC streaming service.
Yeah, yeah. The Office will be on
Ugh.
their streaming service, but
Oh god. Is that where Parks and Rec is going to go to?
probably it's all NBC, man. It's
Ugh.
it's all
Uh,
part of those corporations, bruh.
is that where Lost is going? Oh, that was ABC.
ABC, don't get it twisted.
Totally. All right. Well,
Yeah. All right. Disney streaming service coming out soon.
shout
They
shout
already
out.
have my money.
I do want to shout out to Chelsea, who clearly that's who that is.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
as,
we may never know. You can
as
never
soon as,
know.
as
There's
soon as this
no.
82, I was like, one, okay, hello to Chelsea. Two, how did she figure out how to get a Twitch account? I'm that's
What
I love
a
it
what
so
a
much. I'm so
chauvinist
impressed.
male you are. Like,
I didn't think a
how
woman was
did
capable.
how did this female woman make a Twitch account?
How
You're-
I don't know how she does it. She
without my help?
she
Jeez.
surprises me every day. Beautiful, funny, intelligent PTA marm. She's just great.
Marm. Is that official title in the PTA in Florida? A marm?
Yeah.
Okay.
PTA marm.
Marm.
Um,
All right. Well,
all
yeah,
right.
Chelsea, this is what we do when Brandon leaves and goes in his office. So, cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's wrap this bit up and get into our close of the show because we got some apathetic enthusiasms to do a little
That's
bit
right.
later too.
That's right. We do.
So
Five.
for those of
Four.
you watching live, this is the part where we pretend like we just listened to the interview.
In 5, 4, 3. Oh, I should put a marker on the recording itself. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wow,
Great.
Brandon, really great job. It's terrific stuff.
That's we can't do that. We can't put that in there. It sounds too it's
Uh,
too big. But all right. So that was the interview with Allison Chase. You can tell that she put a lot of work into the costume. She talks all about the felt knitting and and making the snowball, like that was interesting to me. How I didn't even consider the whole making the snowball face and the fur and what that would consist of.
Yeah, after she had posted on our Facebook page, I went and looked at some of the videos she had posted for like the progress of
Yeah.
making that, and it is just incredible, like the amount of time it must take to like put all those like hairs through and like create like I just yeah, hats off. I can't. Yeah, it's really impressive stuff.
Yes, 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 yes. And the thing that was so critical, and when she talks about it, is the whole moving Snowball's head, using her own head, and the trials and tribulations of that. I thought that was interesting to listen to. But yeah, make sure to go to Allison Chase Makeup on Facebook to see more of what she's done. We talked briefly about she did a power loader for Aliens last year, and she's trying to do Cat Bus this next year,
Wow.
which, full disclosure, when she said that, I on my computer was like, I
What
think I know what this is.
what is a cat bus? Is
Oh,
that like a Totoro thing or something?
yeah, 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 yeah. You got it.
Got
Try.
my
Oh my,
I nailed a pop culture reference, you guys. You heard it here live. Yeah, well, big thanks to Allison for hanging out. It is now time to wrap up the show with our final segment, everybody's favorite. It's time for listener suggestions and short outs. Brandon, what do we have this week?
well, this week we got some folks in the stream tonight. We got old Omar V, as I call him, Omarv. He's listening, playing Destiny as he does, uh, probably not actually paying attention to us. We're periodically looking over and being like, "What the
We're,
hell is
we're
Brandon?"
shorting you out right now. We're distracting you from your game, Omar. Pay attention to us.
Shout out to my wife Chelsea, who created a Twitch account specifically for this stream. And
Yep.
the last thing she said was Allison Chains.
Yeah,
Uh,
make sure to subscribe if you do nothing else tonight, Chelsea. Please subscribe to us on Twitch.
I love you, and I can't wait to see you. And then Omar's listening. I don't think he's listening.
I don't
I
know.
think
I
he just
think it's a
periodically
bot.
said,
I think Omar has a bot for paying attention to our show.
yeah,
We have one other short out, and that is our pal So Lucid.
said,
He's hanging out on our Discord, and he's showing off a new mouse pad that he got, an extra large mouse pad that is very much Rick and Morty themed. It is, I want to say, the same artwork that is on the inside of the season 1 DVD. I don't know if that's accurate. If only I had the DVD right here to be able to check.
if only. Let me. I'll try to zoom in. I'll try to zoom in and show it to the folks. That's a very bad picture. There's a
Yeah, yeah,
keyboard. See the keyboard.
yeah. Here,
Oh,
this is
yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right, Travis.
season 1 Blu-ray. There it is, ladies and germs. Um, so yeah, it's ultra big mouse pad, big enough to put your keyboard on it. Brandon, how do you feel about large mouse pads?
I'm for him.
I'm for him. Yeah, I love me a big mouse pad. So, congrats, Kevin, on getting that sweet mouse pad. See, we haven't forgotten about you. And is it John Derek West? Did I get that
Yeah.
collection of names correct? Brandon used the logo that he drew up for us. He put it on coffee mugs. This is my official podcasting mug now. So thanks for the pickle-rific artwork again, John. We're putting it to good use. So thank you to all those folks, and thank you to you for listening, for watching on stream, and hanging out with us. If you enjoy this show, maybe you're new to the podcast, head over to Apple Podcasts, give us a review, maybe if you feel that way, a few stars, anywhere between 1 and 5, we'd appreciate it. And if you are watching on a streaming platform, whether that's YouTube or Twitch, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any time that we go live. And you can check out our other show, Apathetic Enthusiasm, that we do on the same channel. So I did promise, didn't I, that I would talk about our Twitch link at the end of the show. So it is Twitch TV/apathetic enthusiasm. So that is not an interdimensional RSS URL. It is twitch.tv/apathetic enthusiasm if you want to follow along out there.
All right, right on, Travis. Well, thank you so much for being my co-host on this magic journey ride,
This magic carpet ride of podcasting.
magic journey carpet.
And thanks for sending me this microphone. Thanks to Rode for the microphone. And hopefully I sound 0.7% better
Oh no,
than I
you do
have.
you do sound good. Yeah, no, this is great. This is great.
Okay.
We're moving up in the world. All right. So I this is the last thing I want to say. I think that we are we've got till November still to do more episodes. And I'm taking a little bit of vacation. Travis just took vacation, so he's now going to catch up on the actual
On
home
the rest of my life. And frankly, we got to honor the strong female characters in the show, like Summer. So it's time for us to take a little summer break. And we will be taking a few weeks off, so that we can take care of some personal vacation stuff, and also not completely bore you guys with some of the content that we're coming up with. But as new semi-pertinent news pops up, or if there is any major announcements, we'll be sure to rush back to our computers and churn out a special mini-sode or something to stay current on those things. Thanks to everybody that continues to listen to the show over these breaks and stick with us over the last over a year as we gear up for season 4. But yeah, if this might be a good time to go back and listen to some old episodes, or share the show with somebody that's never checked it out, so that you can revisit it together with them.
or help us establish a fundraiser to get us to Los Angeles in November for the premiere of whatever episode is premiering.
Patreon.com/Rick and Morty Pod.
All right. Well, with that in mind, thank you again, Unity. We appreciate you. And until next time, I am Brandon.
And I'm Travis.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're out this bitch. For now. We're gonna be right back. For after
We'll be back. We'll be back at some point.
Actually, let's not even stop the stream. We're just gonna keep going.
Let's keep going.
Keep going. I'll just change the theme song.
Should we stop? I need to stop recording for real though.
Oh, do you? Oh no.
Oh, do you want me to just record both episodes into one feed?
Yeah.
Okay, we can
Why
do
not?
it.
Let's not make people rejoin and then
we'll do it live. We'll do it live.
Yeah, we'll do it live. All right.
Oh,
5, 4.
our 10NX is here. So get ready. We're about to let me change the background. Let us shift gears.
Do you want to start a new Reaper? You want
No. We'll just mark the time.
Okay.
You got the time?
We'll mark it. Okay, I marked it.
We're gonna transition right now. Boom! Look at this. We're apathetic enthusiasm now. Look at
Can't
that.
Trust you?
Look at that. Can't see it.
Can't see it, but I trust you.
Can't see anything. Can't feel anything.
And
we're marathon podcasting. This is amazing. Okay, I'm already on an apathetic enthusiasm show notes. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go.
and hello again, everybody.
Hi, I'm Travis.
I'm Brandon.
This is Apathetic Enthusiasm, the show where Brandon and I talk about things, sometimes immediately after we talk about other things.
That is correctamundo. Yeah, we just recorded an episode. For those of you just tuning in, we just recorded an episode of Interdimensional RSS, the unofficial Rick and Morty podcast, where you can find us talking about Rick and Morty every time we record an episode on iTunes and everywhere.
This is really going to be a podcast of like marathon podcasting. This is something new for us, Brandon. But let's get into it. This is the show where we talk about the things that we feel like talking about. If you want to connect with this podcast, because it will eventually stand on its own over on the Apathetic Enthusiasm feed. You can follow us at Apathusiast. I'm at Jugglemino. He is at Barnyard Cruise.
And I am.
You can follow us on Instagram at apathetic_enthusiasm, on Facebook at facebook.com/apathetic enthusiasm show. Send us an email at apatheticenthusiasmshow@gmail.com, or get this show and submit it for your approval and interdimensional RSS and all sorts of other things over at apatheticenthusiasm.com. Patreon.com/RickandMortyPod.
Very, very, very good, very good. Let's just get right into it, Travis. You and I,
We're talking toys this week, Brandon.
we're talking toys, and a benefit of this marathon podcast session is usually when we do whatever we record, we spend like the first 5 minutes saying like, "Hey, what's going on? How have you been?" Then we do some.
The formalities are out of the way. We've done that in the other podcast. But yeah, well, yeah, we've been talking about things.
What have you been up to, Travis?
I don't know. I've been doing podcasts. I've been
Oh
working.
yeah, I mowed my lawn on Saturday in the middle and like at 11 or so, and I sweat no deuce, probably like 5 pounds of water weight.
Wow.
It was a lot.
Make sure to hydrate. You don't want to lose all your fluids there, Brandon. I care about your health.
And I want to follow up on that. The next day I went for a mile run, and I felt really good. I felt really strong about it. My muscles felt good, but it was hot, and it didn't run as far as I wanted to run. So I'm like, you know what would feel really good. And I always think of this when I'm running around the block. I'm like, you know what, it would be really good to go into the pool after this is done. And so I got home and I said, you know what, Chelsea is not around. Uh, I'm bored. I've got a while to eat. I'm gonna go to the pool. Screw this. I went to the pool. Nobody was there. It was like my ideal day at the pool. And I got in. I didn't even usually when I get in the water, it's like cold. I'm like,
Ooh,
it'll take like
ooh,
20 minutes to get in.
ooh. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Instantly. It felt
Just
so great.
cannonballed right in. You're like, let's just go.
And then two old ladies showed up, and I was like, all right, time to leave.
So I'm really curious, like, because most pool activities for me now as a dad is going to the pool and then like playing with my kids and making sure they don't drown. Were you like swimming laps, or were you just like, I'm just floating in the water?
I I did like do like lay back, and I was like trying to trying to project the most like indie film I could think of.
Like there
Like,
was some like really like eclectic music playing in the background, and you're like thinking about your teenage angst and
yeah,
yeah.
like where will I be when I grow up?
It's being shot from like a bird's eye view and like zooming in, but like turning at the same time.
Yeah, and there's like a narration, like
Yeah.
Dad wants me to go to college, but I want to explore the world. Stuff like that.
I just wish my family understood me, but maybe these two old ladies will.
I don't want to wait for our lives to be over. That's not indie. That's
No,
Dawson.
that's Dawson's Creek.
Anyways,
Well,
so
cool. I'm glad you
I
went
didn't-
swimming.
I didn't.
That's good. Yeah, I often think about visiting a pool and as a form of exercise. But the idea of like there's a pool at my gym, but if I like go to the gym and then would have to like go swim and then like change and like be all like wet and then like I don't know. It seems like such a hassle to be that wet at a gym. Like I don't know. It doesn't sound fun.
That's fair. Like I don't like showering at the gym.
Yeah.
Like I don't I live
That's what
so
pools are for, Brandon.
Oh yeah.
Disgusting.
Dis-
Anyway,
Interesting. Well, let's get into the actual topic. You brought it up at the top of the show, and it is of course us talking about toys. This weekend, as if strategically intended, both Toy Story 4 and the Child's Play remake came out, and one of us saw one of them, and the other saw the other. I will let
can
you.
Can you guess who saw which film?
The
Longtime
one
listeners of the podcast will know.
Here's a hint. One of us saw it and doesn't have kids.
Yeah, one of us took their 3 children to go see the film, and the other
And
one did not.
and the other sat next to an old lady. Even though the theater, there's plenty of space in the theater. Why'd she sit like right next to me?
I'm picking up on some trends in
I
your
don't want to
weekend.
be around people.
When your wife leaves town, do you just hang out with old ladies a lot? Is that does she need to worry about this?
I'm an old lady magnet. Like I went to Winn Dixie like just and I was trying to pick some sweet Vidalia onions to make this potato green pepper hash, right? It's gonna be so great. Uh and this old lady like she started encroaching on my space. I'm like, I just want to get this I just want to pick a perfect onion without you hanging on me. I don't want to I don't want to smell the sweet onions, not old lady onions.
I will say, in the old college days, in my early 20s, when I worked at Starbucks, I always attracted a very specific demographic, and it was those that were either 10 years older than me or 10 years younger than me. So yeah, neither of which were ever even an option in my dating life. So I don't know, something. I don't know if that still stands, but we're just gonna move on. So yeah. So Toy Story 4. I went and saw Toy Story 4 with my family, and you went and saw the Child's Play remake,
That's right.
starring a personal hero of mine, Aubrey
Aubrey
Plaza. And yeah, do you want to? Do you want to talk about Child's Play first, or do you want me to kind of recap a little bit about Toy Story 4 and my feelings on that? Or do we want to do like a side-by-side comparison?
Yeah, we'll both talk at the same time and see where they come together. Yeah, no, I can. I would like to hear because I already saw Child's Play. I would like to hear about Toy Story 4. Tell me about that.
Well, yeah. So, without giving too much away, it's a computer animated film
Hmm.
featuring toys that come to life whenever kids are not around. It's a unique idea. It's very groundbreaking. It stars a cowboy named Woody
Huh.
and his spaceman friend Buzz Lightyear.
Well,
Yeah, it's a Toy Story film. It, right away, like it start. Okay, let me back up. The very first thing that threw me off when going to see this film is the fact that there was no animated short beforehand, and that is something I have come to expect from some of these big feature films, like feature animated films, and I may be getting that mixed up with like Disney animated films, but it seems like they had been bringing back the animated short for a while, and I just expected to see one before Toy Story 4, to the point where when my kid was like, "Hey, is the movie about to start?" I was like, "Well, we have to see the animated short first, and then it'll start." And
hmm,
then Disney
it
title card,
didn't happen.
and then it's Woody and Jesse in the bedroom, waiting for Andy to show up or whatever. Which sounds like a really bad premise for another type of movie, but anyway, um,
And
uh,
yet.
so it does flash back about like 9 years, I think, to an opening scene where they're hanging out with Andy again, and it they kind of do like a quick recap of the fact that Woody was Andy's toy. Andy grew up. We do get to see how Bo Peep left Andy's house as one of Molly's toys that got sold when they were still kids. And then it kind of like flashes quickly through Andy growing up and giving the toys to Molly, and then what life is like in Molly's room. And yeah, so like Woody is not in charge in the room anymore, and he is also not Molly's favorite toy. So he is starting to get like a little bit of an identity crisis in this film, where he's still trying to live out his mission as a toy of making his kid happy, but he's also not the one that is looked to first to make that happen. So the movie is really a lot about like the personal identity of the toys themselves, and not as much about how they bring joy to kids or whatever. Like, and so I don't know. It was good. I am an emotional guy, and there were a couple of moments that made me a little choked up. But as I told you when leaving the theater, I felt that this was the most okayest Toy Story film in the
Yeah,
franchise.
I remember saying that. Yeah.
And part of that is just the fact that these movies are great. Like, if this had been the only Toy Story movie, I'm sure it would have been phenomenal. But it's standing on the shoulders of these giants, and I really think every other Toy Story movie was outstanding. So like, this was a good film, but I don't know that it lived up quite to the same level for me that even like Toy Story 3 did.
I gotcha. I gotcha. I had read on Twitter, um, somebody tweeted, and they said that the best way to look at Toy Story 4 is as an epilogue to these characters' stories rather than the main story of their lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would agree with that 100%.
I told Omar that earlier, and he was like, "Huh?" I said, "Just what, yeah, epilogue. You know what an epilogue is?" He's like,
Google it.
and then
Google
we kind of
epilogue and then come back and talk
mumbled,
to me.
mumbled at each other for a couple minutes. But I mean, could you kind of explore that idea for me a little bit? I know we don't want to spoil anything, but can you
Well,
explain why you feel that is an apt description for it?
one of the interesting, this definitely, like, I felt like Toy Story 3 was a good ending to the series, as like the Andy trilogy, if you will, right? Where we see in the first Toy Story, we see what it's like to be a toy, to be a toy that loves bringing joy to a kid, and that if you like, that's their entire purpose in life. And so everything about that movie is getting back to Andy's room and getting his favorite toys back to Andy, because their whole purpose in life is to be something that this kid can have fun with and enjoy. And that really is like the core, like, central, like, this is what it means to be a toy. And then we move away from that a little bit with Toy Story 2, where you explore this whole other idea of like adult collectors, adult toy collectors, and people who want toys that are kept in pristine condition and sell them for lots of money on eBay or things like that, or put them in a toy museum. And that's how we meet Jesse and Bullseye and these other collectible toys that end up eventually coming back to their true purpose of being something to play with Andy. And then finally, in Toy Story 3, which I felt like this was a good ending, where Andy has grown up and now like these toys don't have that same purpose, so they then get passed on to a new kid that can then bring that joy to a new kid. And it feels like with that ending, you get sort of this like cyclical possibility where the toys never die, or they never like come into their own. They're always just like moving on to the next kid that's going to play with them. And so for Toy Story 4, this movie is really about like the toys themselves being individuals and not existing through the lens of a kid, but more like a lost toy is not dead. It is not like, it does not cease to be. It lives on and has a life of its own. So through this episode, we see that Bo Peep has been a lost toy for several years, but that doesn't mean she's not living a life. She's traveling around on her own. She is collecting supplies to keep herself like from being broken, and she's helping other toys find good homes, and she's made a life for herself that isn't like dependent on the kid that she's with, and there's an antique store in this film that talks about there's one toy in there, Gabby Gabby, who was produced the same year Woody was in the 1950s, but never got played with because her voice box was broken from the time she was like released or whatever. And so it's about her missing out on that opportunity her whole life to be played with, and then also Woody realizing that he can have a life apart from a kid, and sort of breaking that like definition of what he's always been, and coming into his own realization that it's okay for him to want something for himself, and potentially explore a life with Bo Peep. So yeah, that's the movie.
Hmm.
And it's really weird. I think that's the part that I wrestled with the most, is like this idea that the toy's existence, like I guess the whole point is like this really pushes it across the line, that last bit, that like, no, these toys are alive. They are not like living because of the spirit of a child that lives within them, or like, no, they're just real sentient toys that are alive and are fooling us at all times, behind our backs.
Right.
They live
Yeah.
lives of their own. They move out. They go off on their own, and choose to live amongst each other, and hide behind shelves and in the tops of merry-go-rounds, and only spend moments of their lives entertaining our children when we're not looking. And so I feel like this is a good transition for us to maybe talk about Child's Play.
Yeah. That is a good transit. That is very, very creepy. Which is definitely a solid way to move on. So the Child's Play remake. Let me start by saying, when it was announced, I didn't look at any advertisements for it. I wasn't looking at any news for it, because Don Mancini was not involved in it at all, and he wrote the original, directed by Tom Holland, um, and
For the Spider-Man.
yeah, the Spider-Man guy, um, and Don Mancini had written and had directed basically most of the other Child's Play movies, the original ones. Uh, since then, and he's not done. He's still making Child's Play movies, with the original storyline of this guy who is a serial killer, and then he puts his voodoo soul into the soul of a uh, my buddy doll.
My buddy, my buddy.
Yeah, I can't. Oh, Omar, you're watching. Correct me. I know it's not my buddy. Uh, good guy. I think good guy. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but my buddy was the toy that I had as a kid,
yeah.
and I hung around with. Yeah.
So again, I wasn't following it. I was like, no, I don't want to support this. Um, Even when Mark Hamill was announced as the voice of Chucky, I said, yeah, still, you're trying to get us to go in there and see it. Well, Chelsea went to California, and I'm here, I was here alone, and it's like Friday night, Saturday, Child's Play comes out, and I say, Ah, I'm I'm bored. I should go do something. I'll go see Child's Play. Without having seen any previews or knowing anything other than this Chucky is an AI. It's not a it's not a serial
It's not
killer.
a voodoo serial killer.
Exactly right. Um, so it stars Aubrey Plaza, uh, sh- Mark Hamill as the voice of Chucky, and I gotta say this: it is a solid reimagining of Child's Play. It's uh, it stands on its own. It does something unique with this idea that an AI going rogue. Um, you feel whereas in the original Child's Play, you're like, well, this guy's evil. This doll is evil, 100%. No one's rooting for him. Uh, this one, you feel for the doll because he starts off. He has a factory defect. We'll call it
Okay.
that. He starts learning stuff. He starts learning stuff from his environment, and Uh, all he wants to do is be a best friend to Andy, the 12-year-old kid that
Are
he's
you?
he's
His name is Andy.
maybe is it it is Andy, isn't it?
Man, they're just
Oh,
did two Toy
jeez.
Story movies come out on the same weekend?
Yeah, shoot.
I'm really curious if that's like, because that can't be coincidental.
It is. Yeah.
Is the kid named Andy in the original? Like,
Yeah, it is. Yep.
okay,
Yeah.
that's funny.
I
Okay,
I, I for- I forgot. It
did
didn't.
he write Andy on the bottom of his shoe in the movie?
Yeah, damn. Another mirror. Anyway, so all he wants to be is a best friend to Andy, and and take care of him. Well, Andy starts, because he's learning stuff from his environment, he starts doing things that are bad, and that's when Andy starts to like turn on him, and so it ends up being like I keep saying single white female reboot as well, because Chucky just really wants to be with Andy, no matter Fatal Attraction. Maybe we'll say
Okay,
that.
okay,
And if Chucky can't be Andy's best friend, then nobody can.
nobody can. Okay,
So that's basically the plot of the movie. Omar can agree with me. You feel for Chucky because he's not doing anything. He doesn't think he's doing anything wrong to start. He's just he doesn't know that he's doing bad things. Um, there's a I saw this somewhere. I saw an article on about it, but I want to mention there's a scene where Andy and a couple of friends are watching an old horror movie, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 throwback,
okay.
and Chucky is watching and he's looking at everyone, enjoying this. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is kind of like a really outlandish kind of humor filled entry of the series, and he's looking around, he's watching all the kids laughing at it, and he sees that they're all enjoying it, so then he goes into the kitchen and he grabs a knife and he sorry. So anyway, if anybody cares about spoilers, uh nobody dies. uh but Andy turns around and is like, "What are you doing?" And the look on Chucky's face is like, "I thought you guys were having fun. I thought this was something you were having fun with, that you liked." Um, and I say that, and I won't say I'm getting choked up on that, but just he's just it's just a
He's just
innocent,
misunderstood.
just an innocent robot,
Yeah.
uh, until he turns psycho and then he starts killing a lot of people. Um, but anyway, all that said, it takes a little bit to wind up into the story. There's a lot of buildup, uh, but once it gets into it, I have to say it was really enjoyable. And over the end credits, Mark Hamill, sings the Buddy song, and it starts like there's like a really happy version, and then it goes into a really creepy version of
Yeah.
it, where
Does
he
it?
sounds like the Joker from
I was
Bat.
gonna ask if he sounds Joker-esque
Yeah.
at any point throughout the film.
Yep.
Does he ever channel Luke Skywalker at all?
Uh, or there's an Easter egg to Star Wars in there
Oh,
at
that's
the
good. That's good.
towards the beginning.
All right. So, do you feel like this is something that, because I obviously am not the expert on like Child's Play and Chucky movies, but you mentioned that they're still sort of working that same Chucky storyline through films. Is this something that you feel like maybe will be a one off, or is this potentially something that they're going to try and spin into like a series of films?
I think if it makes enough money, then they will do sequels to it.
All right.
Um, and which will be really weird because again, Don Mancini is still continuing on with his own series. So there's going to be AI Chucky and Voodoo Killer Chucky.
Hey, a little something for everybody. I did read a headline somewhere, and I think I don't full. It said that after Toy Story 4, Pixar was done doing sequels. I don't know if that means they're just done doing Toy Story sequels, or if they're done doing sequels. Period. I think it's a little bold to say it's the latter, but it does sound like Toy Story 4 is, no kidding, the very last Toy Story film, at least feature film. I know that they have been doing some, working with ABC. They had like the Toy Story, like Terror. What was it, like the
Oh yeah,
a hotel? What was that Toy Story movie called? Toy Story of Terror.
yeah. Yes.
Thankfully, my son is just off screen, who could do the fact checking for me. But yeah, so I mean, these characters have been a powerhouse for multiple decades, and I don't know. It was a fitting send off for them. So I'm glad that they're kind of gonna put an end to that, and I'm excited for what is it? Onward, the new Pixar film that is set in. I don't think it's called Onward.
I haven't seen any previews for
Have
it,
you
so
not seen a trailer for this? It is.
I
It
can't
is
talk at all.
it is essentially like a fantasy world. Think like, D&D esque with unicorns and goblins and trolls and gnomes and all these things. But in that universe, like, time has marched on, and so it is now like a modern world within that universe. So trolls driving around in vans and gnomes that run lawn care services, and it's Chris Pratt and Tom Holland voice the main characters, and they are going on some sort of epic quest. So it's this weird blend of like modern ideas and smartphones and things like that mixed into this like fantasy environment. So it sounds really interesting.
Interesting. On initial thought, that it sounds it sounds ham-fisted, but I have to watch the trailer to really
I don't,
decide whether or not how
I
I
don't know.
feel about
Pixar usually uh, surprises us in good ways.
Cars too.
Okay.
Cars. Brave.
Yeah, they're not all winners. They're not all winners, but I'm excited about this one.
All right.
So,
Well,
yeah.
I think so. If you're listening and you want to let us know if we miss anything about Toy Story 4 or the Child's Play reboot, please let us know on our social media at App Enthusiast on Twitter or Facebook or our site or iTunes. Um, just let us know. Apathetic Enthusiasm Show at gmail.com. Hit us up there. We would love to hear your thoughts, your ideas for other shows as well. Let us know what you're thinking.
Yeah. Share your thoughts with us. Right. What horror film would you reboot using AI?
The Thing.
All right. Was there anything else we want to talk about? I mean, I haven't really played much more Trover since we last talked.
No, I think that should suffice for this week since I have to wake up in like 6 hours.
Oh shoot. Okay. Well. All right. So that's our episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. And we'll talk to you next time.
Talk to you next time.
Until then, I'm Travis.
And I'm Brandon.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching
and
listening.
Bye.